Am I wrong for ending my marriage because my wife got a massage? The author of the post is listed in the description. My soon-to-be ex-wife and I are both in our late 30s. We've been together 12 years, married for 10. We are in a dead bedroom. It was totally dead for 6 months before I filed for divorce. It was on life support ICU for 5, 6 years before that. We both wanted to be younger parents and both wanted 2 kids. We conceived our daughter almost immediately after getting married. When she was 6 months old, we started trying to have the second child. It never happened. After 3 years, we started seeing fertility specialists and found out we both have pretty serious reproductive issues. The doctor told us our daughter was nothing short of a miracle and said it was against all odds that we not only conceived, but carried to term. It was after this that the sex life began to seriously decline. Initially, I thought it was just the pain of finding out and knowing we wouldn't be able to afford the fertility options, and figured it would get better over time. It never did. It only got worse. 5 years ago, I would say we had sex 15 to 20 times that year. In 2023, we had sex 3 times. I have tried everything to improve this, spicing things up, talking, suggested counseling. I more than pull my weight around the house. We both work and work basically the same hours. I'm telling this because the usual stuff I read on Reddit about how the wife does it all is not even close to true. Over time, I have grown more and more resentful. The thing that makes me the most resentful is she knows I have a high libido and just doesn't care. I, on the other hand, know she loves to be rubbed on, massaged, and never took that from her. I probably rub on her 325 times a year. Almost every night I will rub her claves, shins, ankles, and feet. 4 to 5 nights a month I will go big and do neck, shoulder, back, butt, hamstring, quads, shins, calves, ankles, and feet. I noticed that doing the big massages was the best way to get sex, as she was more likely to allow me to do the foreplay things I know work on her if I had already done this prep. I did them more often a few years ago, but now not as much. The success rate was never that great, maybe 20% of the time, but in the last 2 years we are definitely in the single digits. When we hit the 4 months of absolutely no sex, I decided I wasn't rubbing on her ever again. It only took 3 days for her to notice, and she asked me to. I told her no, and I got angry. I said, "Why should I when you don't give a fuck about what I want?" Obviously not my finest moment, and huge argument followed. Things got ice cold at home, but I wasn't giving in. I was tired of all of it. A few weeks ago, she told me, "Fine, I will just start seeing a professional masseuse." I said, "Then I will start seeing sex workers." She said that was cheating. I said, "Fine, I won't, but you will not get a massage from anyone else. That is also cheating." She said I was being ridiculous, and I said, "No, it's being touched in an intimate way by another. If I can't have that, neither can you. And I swear to fucking God, if you do, I will file for divorce that day." The following weekend, she went to get her nails done. I know how long it takes for her to get her nails done. She came back almost an hour and a half later than I expected. She didn't say anything, just acted normal. I got on her credit card app on my phone, and sure enough, there was a $1.95 charge to the goddamn massage person in the same strip mall as the nail place. I lost it, and when I did so did she. I think we both let out years of frustration on each other. True to my word, though, I called a divorce lawyer on Monday. The only part that upset me was my lawyer said based on these circumstances, I couldn't list infidelity as the reason for divorce and had to go with irreconcilable differences. Anyway, she has been telling people we are divorcing because she got a massage. Since then, I have had a number of family members/friends call me and say I'm an asshole. Some of them, even when I tell them my real reasons, still think I'm an asshole and that my reasons aren't good enough. Personally, I think getting massage when told not to is plenty of reasoning. So am I the asshole here? Personal note. I reread this and I know it comes off angry, but I am angry at myself for wasting so many years. But I'm also angry because this was just the ultimate fuck you. She just went and did it anyway and didn't even try to hide it. Literally went to the same place next to the nail salon and used her CC, which I pay, like I wasn't going to see the charge. Comments? Commenter. The last straw is almost always something small and stupid, but it's just the latest in a long line of hurts. Commenter. I know that's a kinda obvious thing, but this was very well said. Commenter, the massage was just the last final blow to this already dead marriage. Just divorce and let it die already. Commenter, definitely the massage was just the final nail in the coffin. You didn't get a divorce over a massage, but a dead marriage. Commenter, a sexless marriage = roommates with shared accommodations. Oop, in the process. Update, 12 days later. While this is not official by any means at this point, I'll take it as a positive. STBX asked me to meet yesterday to hash out some details of the divorce, and it was actually pretty productive. We agreed on a 50-50 custody arrangement, basically week there, week here. Becomes 2 weeks during summer break. We each keep our own retirements, splitting the savings 60-40 her favor. Each keep our primary vehicle. I made a huge concession on the house. It was my idea. I want our child to grow up in that house. Ours was a 3-bedroom with a finished basement and nice yard. I don't want her to live in a pair of 2-bedroom apartments. This is important to me. I'll be paying a housing alimony each month to offset some costs, since my rent and projected utilities, etc., are much lower than the mortgage/utilities/upkeep. We did agree on some stipulations that would end that. If another adult should moves in, that is a boyfriend, new husband, my obligation ends immediately. My obligation ends when our daughter moves out or turns 22, whichever comes first. There's a bunch of different scenarios we talked about in terms of splitting the house if she wishes to sell it. I won't bore with all of that, but basically, as long as I continue to make the alimony payment, I'll get 40% at time of sale or a buyout. I'm turning all this over to my lawyer this week, and he will write it up and send it to her lawyer. While she definitely had a "you are beneath me" vibe during our meeting, I'm happy this doesn't look like it will be an ugly divorce, as I was very worried it would be. I assume our daughter is the motivating factor for her sudden amicable attitude. Comments. Commenter. Just want to say I'm a lawyer who has been through a divorce, and this sounds kind of stupid. Clean break with assets and then a separate parenting plan. Do not mix them. Commenter. Thank you. Same exact boat. I don't practice family law, but I've been in family court a few times, and this sounds dumb as shit. Commenter. If you read Op's original post, he is kind of stupid, so yeah. Okay, next story. Wires affair. Hello, everyone. I'm currently going through a separation with my wife. My wife and I were college sweethearts since I was 19 years old and have been together for 10 years. On April 1st, we kissed each other goodbye for work, said I love you to each other, and then at 2 p.m. she texted me that it was over and we should separate. I rushed home from work and she told me she had been having an affair with one of her managers at work from August 23rd to October of 23. Starting off at a company golf tournament where they had relations in his car after everyone had left and drove home completely smashed. She blamed me for the affair, said that I had caused her to go insane over the years because of my lack of emotional connection with her, adding that I worked too late and I prioritized friends over her, all of which is completely untrue. I know I'm loving kind, and I always scheduled dates and talked with her after work, even calling her on my 45-minute commute home from work to see how her day went and how she was feeling. I tried to include her in everything I did, just coming to the realization on a few different factors. She never liked my family, friends, hobbies, the food I made, the way I dressed, my music, even down to how I looked for parking spots. She would tell me that I smelled bad, the food I made smelled bad. Sometimes she'd slap me, which I ought to stop to around when it first started. She'd constantly complain that I was too active. This past year, she tried to convince me that I didn't love my dog, really, and that she was the better pet parent. I'd let her know that these things she was saying and doing hurt my feelings, but never received an apology or even a glance. I know there's two sides to a relationship, and I'm not perfect. I'd argue with her, yell sometimes, get frustrated with things that were going on. Sometimes if she was in a bad mood or having a breakdown because of an event, something bad at work, she had a fear of storms and would just cry in the basement until they passed. I would try to console her tell her that everything would be all right and that there's different ways to look at a situation. I would have my meltdowns because of work, not feeling adequate, frustration, etc. She wouldn't stay with or console me. I've been telling her for the past few years that I have just been feeling so unloved in the relationship. I know I'm rambling, but I just don't know what I got myself into over the last 10 years. I thought I was in love, but I don't know anymore. As I've been talking to my therapist over the past few weeks, we've been dissecting my relationship, and a few things I remember from college. was that I'd tried to break up with her several times, but she would lock herself in my room for hours and cry until I concluded that we would work things out. Again, she would constantly tell me that I wasn't emotionally available to her, but I would always try to express my feelings and get blank stares from he. I'd hold her, kids her, tell her every day how much I loved her. But it wasn't enough. Personalized cards for Valentine's Day and her birthday trips, time spent with her side of the family instead of mine for holidays. I just feel like I did everything that I could have for her. I know I have character flaws too, but Jesus did. I deserve to be cheated on, raked through the mud, and then cast aside like trash when she was finally done with me. Now when we've met since she's cold, no emotion, everything is my fault. We've moved out of the house, gotten separate apartments while we wait to put the house on the market. I can't sleep at night. I wake up covered in sweat at 2 a.m. and can't go back to sleep because I have dreams of this person I thought I loved getting railed by her boss. I feel like such a loser. I feel inadequate. I feel like I stuck in a living hell of situation. However, every day gets better. My friends call to talk to me. One of them is taking care of me, feeding me, letting me stay on his couch until we can get a 2-bedroom later in the summer. I started going back to church, joined a divorce group, started working out, and have lost a substantial amount of weight. I don't know why I'm posting this, but kudos. If you read through the hardest, most depressing situation of my life, I'll take any words of advice or anything that anyone wants to share. Insights as well. I just feel so lost and don't know what my future holds or how to crawl forward at this point. I feel so pathetic about this person that I chose to spend my life with that now makes me sick when I see her. Sincerely, Travis. Okay, third story. I just learned the truth. Friday night, my wife and I were sitting together talking about the latest Stardew Valley update that's coming up, but I noticed she had put a passcode on her phone. In the 5 years I've known her, she's never had one, so I asked her about it. She told me that there was an OS update that forced her to put one on it. I know that's an extremely unlikely thing to happen. She's already been acting squirrely for the last month. She hands me the phone to see the Stardew Valley information, and I flip over to her texts. The first thing I see is that she is telling her co-workers that I sexually assaulted her and that she wants them to give her a place to stay. I knew she was lying to me, but this was a level of betrayal that had me completely floored. So, I confronted her. We fought a minute. I managed to keep it low intensity for now. I told her I couldn't stand to be in the same building as her, and I was leaving, so I did. She chased me through the street, yelling for me to come back. Eventually, I stopped and told her that the only way I'd come back is if she recanted her lies and let me see it. She sent a jumbled text message to them about how she had lied and added a bunch of nonsense self-pity about how she did it to get attention, which I already know just makes it look like I'm forcing her to do it instead of he making the choice herself. But I relent and go back inside. But of course, I'm not going to just sit down and ignore what's happening right in front of me. So I confront her with all my suspicions of the last month. She keeps spinning new lie after lie, telling me that she's wanted out of our relationship for a full year and that she was only still here to protect me from being alone. Of course I ask if she's cheating on me, and she still adamantly denies it. I move my bed out of our bedroom and into the guest room because I don't want to sleep in the same room as I used to now. She packs a bag and runs off crying. Note, she left her dog with me. I'm beside myself in confusion over how fast this all happened. Then I look at the computer. I set up a secure browser that deletes history and logs you out on its own. But she thinks all that security nonsense is a waste of time. So she has her own browser installed that has full history kept and stays logged in. Discord is logged in. And here I find, to absolutely no surprise, that almost exactly a month ago, she started sharing naked photos with a co-worker of hers, and that it has advanced since then. I find more complex and absolute nonsense lies. She's telling people I chased her out of the house and wouldn't let her take her dog. She's still telling people I forced myself on her. I'm looking for a lawyer now, but I'm just having a really nasty time right now. I needed to share. How do you like these stories? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you.